The coisa yesterday, tá doido, quase getting so.
It's just a
It
new.
was
deal.
feeling good, it said, I don't.
All right, let's go ahead and get the drainage committee meeting started. It's 4:40. Let the record reflect that all members are present. Item number one, request approval of publication and cause for the proposal consolidated Pierre Park Bell River Drainage District, $151.75.
Yes, this is the new district that's being proposed. Obviously, we're going to have some costs that are going to be incurred for this, and there is no tax associated with the district yet. So we need to know what's the funding source to pay for these expenses.
And y'all want to split it up 3 ways, or how you want to do it?
I'm fine with that. I'll make a motion that we split it equally between Ward 7, 8, 9 drainage allocation.
How much that's gonna be?
Well, this is minimum
just for the-
151, but when we get down to actually having the election costs, it could be thousands of dollars. So that's going to be the big ticket, but we don't know what that number is.
Shouldn't be, it shouldn't be that bad with a lot
last
going on.
I may have enough money for last night.
Motion by Mr. Blanchard,
Second.
second by Mr. Carter, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number two, request approval to reappoint Jason Johnson, J. Day, Joyce Day, Patrick Giat, and Mike Cox for 5-year terms on the LA 70 Lee Drive Drainage District.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Como, all in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number three, request approval to reappoint Chess Broderick, Warren Gonzalez, Chet Landry for 5-year terms on the Lower Texas Drainage District.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Blanchard,
Second.
second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number four, request approval for additional $500 needed for the Bayou St. Vincent Canal Bridge replacement.
Ron, this was a conversation you and I had that you sent me email correspondence saying you were going to make this commitment.
No
I'm not
problem.
sure if
No
you were
problem.
still on
Yeah,
board with that.
No
or not.
problem. Good with it, if y'all good with
You got drainage?
it. Yeah, I don't mind.
Turn out of water, one drainage.
Motion.
Motion by Mr. Mathern. Second by Mr. Como, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carried. Item number five, request approval for culvert replacement at Highway 1 and Highway 70 outfall, Ward 7.
Yes, sir. This is at the intersection of Highway 1, Highway 7. They got about a 40-foot piece of culvert that drains highway. It's actually concrete jaws that's cracked, need to be replaced.
Total cost of $2,640. Motion by Mr. Mathern,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number six, request approval for culvert replacement at 7423 Highway 70 North.
This is a 36-inch culvert that drains about 7 or 8 residents that drain the water, take it across Highway 70. It's collapsed. It has a hole in it and needs to be
So
replaced.
we cut the road again?
No, this is a driveway. This is not a road.
Total cost of $1,600. Motion by Mr. Blanchard,
Second.
second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number seven, request approval for culvert replacement at 115 Mercury Street, Ward 8.
Yes, this is a culvert replacement on a project that we're going to utilize with road and bridge money also to put a cross culvert across the road, get the water drain on the backside of Mercury Street. The water's pooling in about 3 or 4 different residents' yard. So we need to increase the size on these damaged culverts under the driveway and move and divert the water over to the west side of the roadway.
Total cost of $1,930. Motion by Mr. Mathern,
Second.
second by Mr. Blanchard, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 8, request approval to extend a pump rental for 2 months, $5,000, Ward 9.
Now I know why Myron was concerned.
Yeah, you know why. You know why. Yeah, motion. Second.
Motion by Mr. Mathern, second by Mr. Carter, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I have my pump installed. What needed?
Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Blanchard. Meeting adjourned.
Call to order, let the record reflect all members are present except for Mr. Naki and Mr. Johnson. Item 1, request approval to pay list of bills submitted through June 23rd, 2023.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn,
Second.
second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Review budget comparison statements for major funds for May 2023.
Those reports are included in your packet. There's a few accounts that we do have some overages, but we will be working on amended budgets next month. So we're gonna amend those accordingly.
So moved.
Motion to accept the budget comparison statement by Mr. Carter,
Second.
second by Mr. Como. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval to purchase for the purchase of a new vehicle for administrative office up to $25,000.
As much as this request pains me, the car is really starting to fall apart. So I think after 24 years, maybe we need to get a new car.
So
It's
moved.
Not the car, you say you was gonna ride it till the wheels fall off.
Well, the inside of the car is literally falling apart. It's,
The wheels are falling off.
We're trying to tell you to get a new car,
well, I
man.
know, no, Paul has been working with the company that, they're supposed to be renewing a state contract, and the last year's prices were right at 20. We don't know what they're gonna be, so that's
got
why
air
we're
conditioning?
hoping.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval for 1-year accredited monitoring for a parish employee.
Yes, this is a matter that I've been in communication with the ADA regarding. There was a, I don't want to say a breach of information, but on the list of bills that is generated, there was some private information, some personal information that was on the list of bills, therefore put on our parish website. It has come to our attention. The practice has been rectified, and that will no longer take place when the submission of on the input of the list of bills. But as a courteous, yeah, I'm sorry.
Precaution.
A precaution, a courteous gesture to try to make sure that the credit does not get breached for this individual. We'd like to propose a 1-year of credit monitoring, and the cost is $100 and somewhat dollars for that.
Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Request approval for jurors to travel to DC relative to the Drainage Master Plan and Flood Mitigation Projects 9/17 through 2023, and allocate $1,500 per juror.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I put this on the agenda. As we visited Washington DC, as it pertains to our master drainage plan and tried to lobby for the funding to continue to try to help mitigate all of our issues as pertains to drainage. I think it's imperative that we go ahead and revisit our delegation in Washington to continue to fight to help mitigate our issues. So I have a motion on the floor.
All right, any other, I guess the question that I just want to ask is, do we think it's necessary for all jurors to go, or do we send a delegation of? 3 or 4
Well,
jurors?
as we all witnessed, as we all were there, the delegation, I feel it's just my opinion, they would like to see us all together as one. I think we get more bang for the buck when Assumption steps out all together as one, whether it's all 9 jurors or what have you. I think we get a better listening ear as pertains to just maybe 1 or 2 just gone. That's just my opinion.
And all jurors, I don't think gonna probably go to this one here. But the simple fact is, it's close to election. I talked to some other jurors, they're not planning on going. I don't know exactly how many people plan on going.
I more than likely won't be attending this year. I don't know.
All right, so there's a motion on the floor by Mr. Alcorn.
Ron gonna be going by himself.
I will go and fight for our parish.
I second the motion. For the
Motion
jurors
by
that
Mr.
wanna go.
Alcorn, second by Mr. Carter. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Carter, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
There's one yeah, there's one electrical engineer.
What's the FR?
Call Personnel Committee meeting to order. So the record reflect all members are present except Mr. Jeff Narcan and Patrick Johnson. Number one, request approval for end of probationary period for the following. Megan Hedges, Grants Coordinator, effective June 30th, 2023. Tawana Tyler, Special Assistant, Special Programs Director, effective June 30th, 2023.
I'll let Ms. Mercedes speak on behalf of Ms. Tawanya, but on Megan, I highly recommend her. She's in the right.
I highly recommend Tanya Brown. She's
Based off the recommendations, go ahead and entertain a motion to approve.
Motion from Ron. Second from Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Item number two, discuss office closure and compensation relative to employee that remained at work versus those who went home. Listen.
So you have the right to go into executive session if you would like, or we can stay in the public. meeting. I'll make a motion that we go into executive session.
Motion by Leroy, second by Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion by Leroy to re-enter regular session, second by Jamie, all in favor?
So as it relates to item 2, I'm going to make a motion that the employee be compensated for the additional time as their timesheet was originally filled out during that pay period.
Motion by Leroy,
Second.
second by Jamie, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion to adjourn.
So
Jamie, second by Leroy, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.
5:12, we'll go ahead and get started with the road and bridge committee meeting. Let the record reflect that all members are present except for Mr. Nakam and Mr. Johnson. We only have one item on the agenda, request update on 2023 road overlay program. Joseph.
Yes, I have placed before you the booklets with the overall estimates for the 9 awards according to the streets that were submitted by the administration. I'm not, for time's sake, I won't drag you through every page, but if you go to the very first page, you'll see a summary for each ward as it's presented. Now, keep in mind, this is the overall estimate for everything that was submitted. As usual, we probably will have to make some cuts to stay within your proposed budget. Right now, 2.7 million.
Look at
And
the last page. not
please,
Yeah,
Last page.
we 2 million over. So yeah, we're gonna cut.
Yeah.
We're gonna cut.
but I'll present it to you right now. We're at 4.588. I'll be glad to meet with any juror after he has time to digest this information and look at everything. And then once you all make a final decision, we'll have the plan prepared and we'll be ready to go to construction.
Mr. Sabo, I got one comment on this.
Yes, sir.
I feel that you're wasting my time.
Fine.
By taking me out so I can show you my roads.
Mhm,
I submitted 3 roads on this project. After you and I wrote the roads,
mhm,
there was more roads that was submitted. There were some roads that I took off.
mhm.
After looking at your proposal, the 3 roads that I originally submitted, it's the only roads on here.
We discussed, I'll go back to my original notes, but I have South Bay. And
What about the list that you took down whenever we wrote the street?
I
We wrote every street in
I
my
have those
ward
notes in my office.
that don't reflect what you have here.
I'll be, like I said, I'll be happy to get with you and go over all the costs and all the notes again.
We need you.
No problem.
So once again, this is only for preliminary review. I'm gonna also get with someone in the office, maybe Kim, and get a final hard number of what we have in the road fund. I know we budgeted 2 million. If you look at the back page, we're way over 2.5 million. So I'll be ready to bring a hard number back to the jury at the next meeting. And look like we're gonna have to have some cuts and narrow it down. Good thing about it is the way the cycle has been going, we've been able to improve some of our parish roads on a yearly basis. It's just been falling like that. So I won't continue to go on, but like I said, it's just for preliminary review. And if you do have any issues like Mr. Pondville, just go straight to Joseph and y'all get it and we'll bring it back and we'll do what we have to do. Okay? Anything else as pertains to this?
I feel that we should all get together, all non-jurors, and ride these roads and grade them before we accept anything.
Well,
We said you are,
I don't have a problem with riding roads. It's up to the jury if they want to do that. But I know for a fact, I'm way out of budget and I know I'm gonna have to cut a lot of stuff just in my district based off the funds that are available. And I don't have a problem with it. And 90% of my stuff is all patchwork that needs to get done. I see it coming. So if there's no further discussion, can I entertain a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
By Mike,
Second.
second by Leroy, all in favor, meeting adjourned.
Pending and Joint Committee meeting. The first item is table. Number 2 is update on the grants, about the grant coordinator.
Plan to mail the recreational trails for the Patty Parks Walking Trail application tomorrow. There are a few items listed on the agenda for approval in relation to this application. The deadline for the RFQs for Gomesa is on this Friday, 6/30/2023. And we're currently working on the Land and Water Conservation Fund application for Gilbert Dupaty Park, which was started by Leonard.
Is it?
Yep.
Well, thank you. Discuss water sector RFQs and approve a resolution to approve the high score.
So we do have a high score for the water sector RFQs. It was Infinity Engineering. And I request a resolution to approve them as a high score.
Okay, the only thing we want to add to that resolution is if you all would consider approving that contingent upon us further reviewing the proposal as far as the timeline, because we under a time constraint, so we have to make sure that they can meet the 6-month timeline. So we are pressed for that.
The state put out a 6-month timeline from the date of the award letter that the design has to be complete, and included within our RFQ package was the timeline. And we're just not sure if that proposal, I didn't review it, so I don't know if that proposal meant it. So we approve, we just have to approve it contingent upon them completing, so that we don't lose the grant award of being late with plans.
There's any match on this grant?
No,
Well, there is, but that's coming from when the water sector is being used for the other one.
What engineer?
that's right. This is for the sewer treatment plants and lift station refurbishment. So the match for that came from our
American Recovery
Recovery Act money.
Yes. For the construction side.
How many plants is this?
We have 8, right?
9.
No, or the new one and add it to it. I think
Yeah,
it's
9, and then you also have, I think you're right at 12 lift stations as well.
I don't remember the exact number. And I know there was one that had a backup generator, and it was a different, the whole scope of work was defined in order.
Do you want to have something in there to the effect of if Infinity does not meet that timeline or cannot, do we move to the second on the list, or? Since we are under a time constraint.
Yes.
I'm in favor of adding it to the motion.
I can't do it.
And if for some reason the second can't satisfy the time constraint, then we'll call for a special meeting at that time. Once we find out if any of the others can meet that time constraint.
Just for clarification. I have no objection with the high score. But just for clarification, the water sector grant funding is being used to improve our parish-wide sewer treatment plants. Am I correct?
Correct. Okay,
So we're going to enter into approve a resolution in 2021 in July. We approved the resolution for the upgrades of our parish-wide sewer facilities. So what are we going to do about this resolution that where work was provided and was given to the jury? And we've had numerous discussions as it pertains to our sewer lift station. So are we gonna go ahead and adopt 2 resolutions? How are we gonna do this? This is it right here.
Well, that resolution took place and we were never given a contract by the parish engineer to proceed on that. So outside of that resolution, as far as this board was presented, that's where it stopped.
So what you do
And
with,
then we were faced with the fact of the federal funds and we had to procure.
understood, there's
That's where we
guidelines,
are.
understood. But my question is, the work or 20-30% of the work that has already been provided to the jury upon request, how is that going to be satisfied? What are we going to do about that? Because if we're going to go ahead and adopt and approve a resolution to this other company, then what are you going to do about the outstanding work that was provided to the jury by the previous resolution or previous engineer that provided the work? That's my question.
There you go, Rob.
Got some kind of paperwork to show us the completion?
I submitted that to you all on request. Submitted paper and electronic documents.
You emailed it to all of us?
I hand delivered it via thumb drive because it was too large of a file. I brought it to the jury and placed it to each one of you.
What's the value of engineering effort that has been put into this project at this time?
It's about 40% of the total.
So the problem we have with this, Mr. Alcorn, is that resolution was made without allocation being made to fund it.
Allocation, well, at the time, we were under the impression when the AR money came from the federal government, we knew we had a problem with our sewer treatment plants. And that's why we made the motion and went on and jumped on securing those funds to upgrade our sewer lift stations and sewer plants. Did we put the cart before the horse per se? Yes, because now there's federal guidelines when dealing with the federal funds. Now we're saying, now it's being told to us that when we have federal monies, it's going out, everything has to go out for RFQ. If that's the way we need to go, then so be it. We need to follow the guidelines. But we put things in motion, not knowing, and also work was provided.
Just if I can insert just a comment, that's why we cannot authorize any work prior to the existence of a contract.
I think we
It
made a
continually
motion on that
happens.
a couple of months ago.
Right, I think at this point, we have no choice but to move forward with the RFQ engineer, and then we'll give Mr. Sawa, see what that value is, and we'll have to find another funding source to satisfy that. Otherwise, we face the possibility of a claim from his firm for not payment for work that was provided to us. So that's something that we'll just have to deal with him. But it is a separate issue, I believe, than approving this RFQ.
Right. We'll address Mr. Osborne's issue later.
Can we provide, I guess, we'll go ahead and address it at the next meeting. You said you completed 40% of the design. You've already submitted that in the Trump drive. Submit your invoice to the jury, and we'll have to discuss it at the next meeting. Donna, please put that on the next agenda, please.
I'll make a motion that we accept Infinity Engineering for the RFQ.
Second.
Contingent upon satisfying the date of completion.
And if not, moving to the second highest bidder.
Correct.
Score on this.
Second.
A motion made by Jamie, second by Mike. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Update on competitive HMGP grants and authorize president to sign the required documents.
Okay, so just a little history behind this. A while back, I brought this before the jury. The state had realized they had some additional monies available and asked each of the parishes to submit a priority 1 and a priority 2 for this competitive grant. This is DR 4611 Hurricane Ida HMGP funding. So the jury decided to commit to request 3.5 million as to construct a new public works building, a hardened public works building as priority 1. And priority 2 would be request $5 million to clean the waterways as was originally requested for due to Hurricane Ida, and which was canceled. So we had up to April 11th to submit an email to GOSEP, to Governor's Office of Homeland Security Emergency Preparedness, on what our priorities are, which we did do. We received an email back from them confirming that they had received it. And now we've been working closely with GOSEP in their grants portal. And there's some documents that President Blanchard needs to sign, which are up on the table right now pending his signature. And once that gets signed, we'll upload those documents in their portal. And GOSEP Director Tingle needs to sign a document, which we're waiting on. Once he signs that document, then we'll proceed through the grant to submit it to the grants portal. Now, we received an email this morning at 11 o'clock, which was sent to me, and the whole police jury was CC'd on. The second paragraph reads, "We have been reviewing the project proposal submitted, and based on our analysis of the information provided on the notice of intents and the criteria shared on the statewide conference call, we feel that your priority 1 project has the potential to score well." The next paragraph states that also please note the DR 4611 competitive pool is oversubscribed, and so GOSEP will be unable to prioritize any priority 2 projects at this time. So they had talked about this at the Louisiana Emergency Preparedness Conference, that they did not expect so many people to apply for these grants. So, I mean, once I get those signatures, we bird dog and GOSEP to get Director Tingle's signature. And we'll work closely with GOSEP grants to make sure everything's in line once we submit it. So we've got a good chance to get the priority 1, but I'm not sure how we stand on the priority 2 at this time. So that's my update pending any questions.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Motion. to approve
We
and
need-
authorize.
Yeah, to sign those documents.
Yes.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
Moved by Ron,
Second.
second by Mike. All in favor? Opposed? Next item, request approval for resolution to submit the application for grant funds for the recreational trails grant for Gilbert DePatie Parks Walking Trail through the FHWA Recreational Trails Program, and authorize the president to sign the necessary documents.
So move.
Hold on, before we move too fast on this one, Brian, what's the funding source for the maintenance that's gonna be required on the upkeep of this park after these upgrades are made?
Funding source of the maintenance upkeep.
Yeah, so I understand you have a pretty big capital outlay submitted for upgrades to DePatie Park. And I'm just, the maintenance is gonna fall on us as the parish.
Mhm.
And I don't believe that Ward 1 has a millage, a recreation millage,
No, we
similar to
don't.
other parts of the parish. So I'm just, I know, and you weren't here at the last meeting when we were discussing the parish employee commitments to maintenance and upkeep at the parks
Okay,
throughout the parish.
all right.
So I'm just trying to see if we're gonna have, more than $500,000 upgrades to the park. I'm sure there's gonna be some additional maintenance coming along with that. And I just want to see how we're
I
gonna
mean,
fund that.
It costs hundreds of thousands.
So who's gonna maintain it?
well, Mr. Como, Mr. Chair, we've been cutting the grass. I think we're gonna continue to cut the grass. I mean, we've done other things in other areas of the parish.
When you're saying we, who are you talking about we? Members
The
of
jury,
the jury.
the jury.
Well, listen, the jury does not take care of the Bio-Lewis Walking Trail.
Do not take care of Pale Park.
Right.
Every
So you're
grant,
gonna have
hold
to
on,
come
hold
up
on,
with
hold on,
some
hold on,
funds to
hold on,
make-
hold
Who take care
on,
of-
hold
who
on,
take
hold on.
care-
Every, hold on,
take care
let
of
me
the
finish, let me
sidewalk
finish.
in Pale Park?
Every grant,
Jury.
hold on.
The grass is this tall. I
But
like
the
what-
jury take care of the sidewalks. in
That's
Pale
right,
Park.
that's
So don't
right,
come in with
that's
this
right.
bull about who's gonna take care of the park.
That's right.
Oh, when was the last time the jury went out there to Pale Park and take care of any sidewalks?
It's on the list to do regular when you grass cut. It's
And
on your
it
list.
just went repaired one.
And that's a state highway. So
That's
why are
right.
we taking care of it?
Every grant, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Let's talk
Hold on,
about-
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on.
Thousands of
Every grant that has come, that has went to Veterans Park, Assumption
Yeah.
Parish Police Jury name has been on it.
Only
Yes,
reason-
y'all
The only
do get
reason
a,
we got it,
Y'all-
because
yes.
Assumption Pierpont area
it don't matter.
applied for the grant,
It don't
they
matter.
got the money coming in.
little- the
Assumption
little-
Parish did not
the
help.
little-
Hey, hey,
hold on,
did not help at all.
No. But the point is,
Assumption Parish did not
the
help
point, the point is, we're gonna continue to operate like we've been. Every time it's something positive that's being done, look like in a minority area, it's always some BS.
It's
always some BS.
Let me answer that.
It's always.
When we did,
So here's,
when we did the boat launch in Assumption Parish, we had to turn into the grant, the federal grant, that who was gonna maintain it? And the recreation district is the one that maintained it. Now, is it fair to us that we maintain it and then someone else gets the same deal and don't have to maintain it? I think that's where Myron's coming from, and that's where I'm coming from.
you use recreation and parks. Well, you got a $2.2 million ring levy system going on, and you don't even have a drainage district. You just did Oak Levy, you did 65,000. And Mr. Como, you was the one that was advocating, said, why are we pumping all this money where there's no drainage districts and they're not helping themselves? So what's the difference? What's the
How about all
difference?
these sewage?
What's the difference?
How about all these sewage tanks that we gotta pump out? That
We're gonna be
probably
moving
gonna
on
put
to
in.
the next item.
I got a motion on the floor.
I don't even know where we're at.
I got a motion on the floor.
Let's see, approval of resolution submitted for the grant. Okay. Motion is made by Ron.
I'll second your motion, but Mr. Alcorn, all I ask is that we look at how we're gonna, in the future, how we're gonna address the maintenance and upkeep on the parks parish wide.
Okay, motion is made by Ron, second by Leroy. All in favor? Opposed? Okay, motion passed. Next item, request approval for resolution for a $100,000 match for recreational trails grant for Gilbert to Patty Parks Walking Trail utilizing the pending state direct fund line item appropriation.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I like to take, not use the $100,000 match and drop it down to 60,000 as the match to utilize that for the walking trail grant.
60,000.
Yes, sir.
How much to complete?
We're gonna apply for 200,000 and we're gonna match 60, so it's 140,000.
Okay. All right. Yes,
That's my motion, sir.
Okay,
Thank you.
motion by Ron.
Okay, wait. Megan, just comment on the grant, the match part.
So on the match part, that is contingent upon receiving the CEA that is acceptable to use those funds as a match for the recreational trails program.
So the one side, the walking trails side said that it would be an eligible match to use that funding source. Until we get the CEA from the line direct,
It's coming.
that group, then we won't be able to get their confirmation. So it's obviously contingent upon both parties accepting that
Yeah.
match. Just wanted that part of the record. That's all.
Okay. So the motion made by Ron,
Second.
second by Mike, all in favor? Motion passed. Request approval for a resolution to endorse and support the application submitted to FRIPL by the Pierpont Bell River Museum.
I
They have
know,
to put that on the agenda. They just want our support.
Yeah,
They just want us, what they are doing it themselves.
okay.
Motion.
Motion by Jamie,
second.
second by Leroy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Number 8 is tabled. Number 9, request approval to authorize contract with engineer for Ag Center roofing project 30,000 for the large arena, 8,000 for the concession stand.
Yes, gentlemen, I put this on here due to the substantial cost of it. I reached out and asked for some expert advice on what it would require and the cost that is associated with it. And Mr. Joseph provided me with some cost estimates and what it would cost as per what the insurance provided for us on square footage and whatnot. And it is a wind rated roof. And we're gonna need some permits and some additional stamps for approval. At least I feel that way. And then also our manual says that after $60,000 that we reach out to our parish engineer for some assistance on projects. The funding for the engineering fees for both projects would come out the co-op fund. One is insurance related with federal money tied to it. And the other one, over time, this roof has incurred some substantial damage, and the actual interior portion of the base layers of the roof is falling through the ceiling. So it's becoming a very big hazard for the people that are renting. And we need to make some immediate repairs to it.
Why do we let things go so far?
Jamie, I wasn't involved with it when it was built or the longevity of it. I can't really answer that.
The ag building is ida damage. I mean, the main complex where the rodeos are being held,
That's
ida
on there.
damage that this is, so the one for $359,000 is ida damage.
That's
hurricane
hurricane
damage.
related.
The second one was 85,000, that is the concession stands. And when it was built, we've continually for the last 6 years, he knows that we've been trying to fix leaks where the air duct system, the ventilation system for the fryers has continually leaked. We've tried sealed and put all kinds of different ways. It's finally gotten to the point where we can't fight it no more, and it's deteriorated the roof to where it needs to be repaired on top of the female bathrooms under the ventilation system.
The roof
We're gonna
actually
change the
falling.
design, hopefully.
Yes, we're going to a metal roof.
Yes, we're going to a metal
We're going to a
roof.
metal
So one of them is ida damage, which is the large one, and the other one is just reoccurring damage from consistent leaks that we've had trouble with over the last 10 years.
And both items will be on a contractual basis also. I'll make a motion that we approve with the additional note that both of these items are not to exceed amount since both are existing structures. I don't think that the full 10% of engineering is required on it's basically been designed already, especially for the arena. I mean, the roof is there. I understand having some engineering oversight to spec the materials and so forth required for it. But I'd just like to, Mr. Sawwa, to submit based on actual time with not to exceed 30,000 on that item. And same for the roof on the concession stand.
Okay, do we have a motion? Motion by Mike, second by Jamie, all in favor? Opposed? Next item, request approval to authorize parish engineer to go out for bids for the Ag Center roofing project. Motion by Mike, second by Jamie, all in favor? Opposed? Discuss the Plottenville drainage project.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, just put this on the agenda. I did receive the preliminary design of the project. And I did give every one of my colleagues it's all on the jump drive for your review. It also is being reviewed by the Plottenville Drainage District number 5, the board as well. My only ask tonight if we can authorize or allow Ms. Megan to send a copy of the preliminary drawings to the state coordinator of the capital outlay project, Mr. James Lee, for his review only. That's my ask.
So the
Have we
copy,
gotten every CEA in place on this thing?
On the drainage. Not that I'm aware of.
So we still waiting on that? CEA?
No, that was here. We do have the line of credit. We got the line of credit.
Okay.
Well, she can send that copy.
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's okay with the jury, that you can send it
And
to.
just tell her to send the copy. She's doing the grant.
What's your time frame for going out to bid on that project?
Well, we can't move without Mr. Lee's approval.
I understand. I'm asking for your intent.
Hopefully by September 1st. September 1, that's the goal.
Okay, next item is update on the Tacopah Landing project.
Yes, the contractor has finished the sheet piles along the sides of the launch, as well as he has began forming the restrooms up at this point in time. It's progressing well. Is there any questions?
Maybe on that pay station.
The pay station, we have the numbers secured on it. I am still waiting on the numbers for the reduced camera cost that was discussed with the contractor, as well as the sub from AAR Electronics based on the 4 cameras that were submitted. We sent emails requesting this information back in May. Have not received that number yet, but regarding the pay station, we do have that. But if you recall, all of that was under one line item budget that was allowed within the contract.
Is it?
Is it?
Are you gonna tell him that the information that he just gave you?
Is that it, Joseph?
Is incorrect?
You can't speak right now.
Joseph, is that it? Is that it?
I'm sorry.
Okay, we'll move to the
guys.
next item. Request approval to rent equipment for the Bertrandville Drainage Alcohol Clearing and Snagging Project and authorize the R&B staff to complete the project. Who's this about?
I actually met with Mr. Joseph about this. We'll be doing a project in that area. And I'm working on some estimates and costs for the rental on the equipment to offer some assistance on digging this canal. It's approximately 10,000 feet is what the original project started at. I'm not completely finished with the cost estimate for it. I'd like to bring it up on the next meeting to complete the actual cost estimate for it.
So you just want to table this?
Yes, I'd like to table it till the next meeting, and then I'll have a sufficient cost estimate.
Okay. Update on Jolie Moore Street Drainage Project.
Yes, the preliminary plans are completed. I actually have a copy tonight to give to Mr. Carter. In addition to that, once I get with him over these preliminary plans, we expect about a 2-week time frame to do the final plans, and then we will be submitting to the jury those final plans, and then we just await your approval to go out to bids.
That's it?
That's it.
Update on Gerald Street Levy Project.
Gerald Street Levy Project, we are still in permitting. However, I did speak to,
Well, I'm real disappointed on our engineer because I didn't ask months and months. We've been applying for permits for the right drawing to sit down with me and do the right drawing, okay? They apply for a permit. I ain't never seen the drawing,
Mr.
and the
Mathern.
drawing is not what I want.
Mr. Mathern, I delivered that drawing to you.
No, it
multiple-
has not.
Okay.
It has not.
Okay.
I need the right drawing for that. I need to go back and see the problem. I asked you many times to give me a drawing.
And
You
I
apply for a
provided,
permit, you apply for a permit.
I've
and I
provided
did
those
not
drawings
approve.
numerous times. I brought them to this jury. I brought them to jury meetings as well as delivered to you.
I need to go on if you go on.
Okay, update on ring levies in Upper Piedmont.
That project is still in the permitting phase at this time. We've delivered the finished plans to the jury. Once we have received those final permits, we will be presenting them to you, and then we will await your instruction as far as bidding.
Update on Lee Drive project.
Contractor is continuing now the final layers of paving. He's finished all of the drainage work. At this time, once he finishes the final layers, once we finish the final layers of paving, we then have to come back. We're gonna then start the shoulder work as well as the driveway tie-ins, and then the final stage will then be the final striping and signage. The project is progressing.
What is estimating to be finished, estimated date?
He had previously given me an estimated date of 30 days, but that was about 2 weeks ago. He did hit some delays. We had some delays with some drain boxes and so forth that came up. So as it stands right now, if he continues with the path that he's on, I see where he could be completed within 30 days of today. That is also weather contingent. We don't allow them to pave in the rain, et cetera.
Okay, go back to this number 14. Number 15. Myron, have you seen any drawings at all, or did you
No,
Did you tell anyone how you wanted it
I
done?
told him how I wanted it, in the back of the, and never,
You've never seen any of the
never,
drawings?
no, sir.
Did you do it more or less the way he wanted it?
He couldn't have, I never seen
Wait,
it.
hold on.
I sent drawings back and forth with Mr. Mathern. He had seen the lines, we met out there, I've drawn the lines, I've moved that levee, I've moved the levee, I've moved that levee several times, and then I brought the drawings to this jury before submitting for a permit.
I must have been
So-
sick that day.
So I have no issue, I will gladly bring him.
Yeah, bring him.
I will gladly bring him
a copy.
every-
Y'all go over it. and
I
see
will
what
gladly
you
bring him
got.
every copy, but I will send them electronically as well as I'll bring him a hard copy, but I'm going to copy all jurors so that you all are indicated that you have in fact received those drawings.
Well, just get with him and see where y'all at on this.
On that item,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mathern, I just want to make sure that you're understanding that the scope of that project as it relates to Mrs. Savoy is just for the permit application.
Yeah.
And because that project is included in the RFQ that's due this Friday for the bigger scope of levees and pump systems.
So you okay?
Back in Red Friday?
No, there's nothing for him to have ready for Friday.
You
The
already
scope, the scope of his
Already there.
effort as it relates to Gerald Street is for permit application, and that's being done under the retainer.
So
Saw
you
it
good?
in the master plan.
Yes. You good, you good.
Yeah.
So now it's all right.
Okay, now motion to adjourn by Jamie, second by Mike. All in favor? Opposed? All right.
We'll call a 6 o'clock regular meeting to order. Let the record reflect that all are present except for Mr. Nakam and Mr. Johnson. Please rise for the prayer and pledge. God, who teaches us by sending the light of the Holy Spirit into our hearts, grant by the light of that Spirit, right judgment may be ours, and that we may ever find joy in his guidance. Amen.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Item 3, approval of minutes of June 14, 2023. Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Carter, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Public comment period. Accept public comment for any item on the agenda.
So, the engineer, as usual, was
Mr. Landry.
lying. Oh,
Please state your
Jeremy
name.
Landry, 343 Sugarfield Drive in Thibodeau and multiple locations throughout the parish and Reynolds. So he mentioned that he was waiting on information from the contractor. So I'll just read you the emails that you all copied on. Y'all know he's lying, but no one wants to call him a liar. But he says in his response, when I tell him the information is in the emails that all of you have, his response is, we're waiting on you. The owner is identifying funding per the quote in your response. I will finalize the selection and request the response once it's approved. So we're waiting on you guys, but he hadn't even got with you yet, but he says he's waiting on the contractor. He is the problem in the parish. Recognize it and do right for the taxpayers and get rid of it. Get rid of it. Not defend him.
Any other public comment?
Oh, yeah, I got a second, it's just the second agenda. I feel your pain on the part. I used to do the same thing when I was still in Pierreport. We came over here, we'd fight, and we'd fight, and we'd fight, and we never get anything accomplished. So when we took it in our hands like you should do over there, and I would definitely help you and support you, we stopped having to come here, and that's why the recreation district in Pierreport is so strong. So we don't have to come here. So if you ever want any advice and help on that, Ron, I'll gladly help you, like I told you at the beginning when you got elected.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other public comment? Second call, last call. Item 5 is Drainage Committee report. Chairman Fonville.
Yes, sir. The Drainage Committee meeting was held this afternoon at 4:40. All members were present. We approved the publication costs for the Pierreport Bell River Consolidated Drainage District. We reappointed Jason Johnson, Jay Dagg, Joyce Dagg, Patrick Diot, and Mike Cox to 5-year terms on LA 70 Lee Drive Drainage District. We reappointed Chelsea Rodriguez, Warren Gonzalez, Chet Landry, 5-year terms on Lower Texas Gravity Drainage District. We approved an additional $500 needed for the Bayou St. Vincent Canal Bridge replacement. We approved culvert replacements at Highway 1 and Highway 70, at 7423 Highway 70 North, at 115 Mercury Street, and we extended the pump for 2 more months. For pump rental for Mr. Marma Thurn and Ward 9. I present this all in form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Pineville. Need a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Finance Committee report at 4:50. Finance Committee met. All members were present except for Mr. Nakam, Mr. Johnson. We approved to pay the list of bills submitted through June 23rd, 23. We reviewed the budget comparison statement for the major funds for May 2023. We approved the purchase of a new vehicle for administrative office not to exceed $25,000. We received approval for 1-year credit monitoring for a parish employee. We approved an allocation of $15,000 per juror for the jurors that plan to attend. 15. I'm sorry. Remove my glass. 1,500 per juror for travel to DC September 17th through 20th, 2023. Entertain a motion to accept the
Motion
bid.
to accept the grant.
Motion by Mr. Pineville, second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Personnel Committee meeting, Mr. Diaz.
Personnel Committee met at 5 o'clock. All members were present except Mr. Nakam and Mr. Johnson. We approved to end the probationary period for Megan Hedges, Grants Coordinator, and Tawana Tyler, Special Assistant Special Program Director. We also approved the compensation relative to employee that remained at work versus those who went home. I'll present all this in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Diaz, second by Mr. Mathern, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Road and Bridge Committee report, Chairman Alcorn.
Yeah, the Road and Bridge Committee met 5:12 this afternoon. All members were present except Mr. Nakane and Mr. Johnson. We only have one item on the agenda, update on the 2023 road overlay program. We were all provided with preliminary engineering design of the book of the road list. And I will get with the administration to get a final hard number to see where we are budgetary wise. And but other than that, no action taken. Give you that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn. Second. Second by Mr. Diaz, all in favor? Opposed? Engineering Grants Committee report.
Yes,
Chairman Como.
the Engineering Grant Committee met this afternoon. All members were present except for Mr. Patrick Johnson and Mr. Jeff Narcan. First item was tabled. Was given an update from the grants coordinator. We discussed the water sector RFQ and approved the resolution to approve the high score of Infinity Engineered if they can meet and satisfy the fiscal year date. We're given an update on competitive HMGP grants and authorize the president to sign the required documents. We approved the resolution to submit the application for grant funds for the recreational trails grant for DePatie Parks Walking Trail through FHWA Recreational Trails Program and authorize the president to sign all necessary documents. We approved the resolution of $60,000 to match the recreational trails grant for DePatie Parks Walking Trail utilizing impending state direct fund line item appropriation for Ward 1. We approve the resolution to endorse and support the application submitted to FRTPL by the Fairport Bell River Museum. Number 8 was tabled. We approved to authorize the contract with engineer for the Ag Center roofing project and the large arena 8,000 and the roofing project 30,000. And not to exceed the 30 or the 8,000. We approved to authorize the parish engineer to go out for bids for the Ag Center roofing project. We discussed the Plottenville drainage project. And Ron wants him to send a copy to who?
Mr. James Lee, which is the state coordinator over the capital outlay. Yeah, she's right there. Thank you.
Okay. You get this call right now.
Yes, sir.
Was given an update on Tacopah Landing project. Number 13 was tabled. Was given an update on Jolimar Street drainage project, an update on Gerald Street levee project. And on Gerald Street project, the engineer will get with Mr. Mathern. We've given an update on ring levies in the up airport and an update on Lee Drive project, and that's all in the form of a motion.
A motion by Mr. Como, second by Mr. Carter, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Item 10, discuss restore LA. Cullen Kuro.
Good afternoon. My name is Cullen Curall with South Central Planning. My home address 213 Landry Lane, Jack Bay, Louisiana. I'm here. Everybody has a copy of what would have been my PowerPoint presentation and the formal brochure. We South Central are again handling a small business recovery program, this time related to Hurricane Ida in this area. We're simultaneously handling a Laura Delta program in the western part of the state. So in the last 2-3 months, we've hired 30 some odd people and opened 18 offices across the state. Again, relative to Assumption Parish, Assumption is in the Hurricane Ida program area. I know, thank goodness, it was not, the eye of the storm didn't come through Assumption, but I do know that there are businesses that were impacted by the storm. To be eligible, and go to the first page. The program is not for construction dollars. The program is
to help businesses with equipment needs and or to help them with working capital. The reason for that is when you're dealing with federal dollars, of course, there's a lot more rules relative to construction. So the program is designed that we can take your physical damages and help to make you eligible, but the actual loan, and yes, this is a loan, will be in the form of helping you with your working capital, helping you with some equipment, so that you can then use your money that you would otherwise have paid those things with to do the construction type things that, again, when you use federal dollars, you have a lot more bureaucracy and requirements. The map, as you see, breaks down the state. South Central is handling all of the programs. We've actually been allocated 63 million. I anticipate we're going to be getting some additional funds. As you may know, Congress has awarded an additional 800 million to Louisiana. How much of the 800 million will come into the small business program, I don't know, but I anticipate we will be getting a larger allocation. So how is a business eligible? At least one employee, no more than 50 employees. In business, of course, at the time of the storm, minimum 25,000 gross revenue. Either can demonstrate 10,000 in physical damage or a 20% decline in revenue. Now, the decline in revenue is kind of awkward considering we had COVID there in 2020. So we've got them to adjust the rules. You can compare 2019 to 2021 or 2020 to 2021. So again, we're talking tax return, numbers. You make the comparisons and you may or may not have that 20% decline. If you do and can meet the other bells and whistles on this, then you are eligible. So if you are eligible, what are you eligible for? And as I said, we don't want to fund a construction project because, yeah, there's a lot of paperwork with this and that multiplies if we try to fund the construction project. So what we fund, we calculate, it's called, again, it's a loan, but they call it an award. So your award is calculated by taking the monthly rent or mortgage that you might pay on your business times 6, basically covering 6 months. The non-owner wages and benefits that you pay your employees, take whatever that number is times 6. The utilities, now we're talking gas, water, electricity, phone, cable, internet. I don't think insurance is on this list. I wish it was. We're kind of working on that, but as of right now, it's not. So you take those numbers and again, we calculate for, going forward 6 months. And then inventory. So any convenience store, any company that within its, sells a product, 6 months worth of inventory. Again, the number can go up pretty easily. In addition to working capital type expenses, this program can help you to replace equipment that you have not been able to yet replace. I say replace, it's replace or repair. It can reimburse you for equipment that you have replaced or repaired. And if you can justify a piece of equipment that might have helped your business to be better resilient when that next storm comes, then, give us 3 quotes and we can get that approved from the state. The best example of that, of course, is a portable generator. Gas station down the road or the pharmacy down the road had a generator. They potentially could have been operating after the storm instead of having to wait for all the power and utilities to come back in the community. So again, the idea is what equipment can help to make you more resilient going forward. All of these things, again, in my mind, can fairly simply calculate to a pretty significant award. The minimum award, as would be calculated, is 10,000. Again, I play with the words here, but the state says the cap is 150. Oh, and the asterisk says, but by exception, if you can demonstrate more need, by exception, they will approve up to $250,000. Yes, this is a loan. Something is approved, I will go sit with you and we'll close on a loan document for whatever that number is, $250,000. I like to use the $100,000 example because it makes my math easier. The loan will be a 0% interest loan. It'll be calculated or it'll be termed for 7 years. 60% of that amount will be amortized for 7 years, meaning we're not even going to amortize the whole. We're going to assume that you will earn, and the next bullet is, once you've paid 60%, the last 40% can be forgiven. You have to earn the forgiveness. It used to be that with the disaster loans, there was a grant and a loan. Well, they don't do that no more because too many people were not following up and finishing the tail end paperwork. So again, you sign a loan for 100% of whatever that amount is. My $100,000 example, you pay back your 60%. You turn in your tax returns, you turn in the necessary receipts, i.e. you do the follow-up paperwork. You fill out the wonderful federal forms that talk about how many employees you have so that they can count and pat themselves on the back. Again, the paperwork that follows this loan process is what we're talking about. If you've dotted your I's and crossed your T's, you pay that 60% level and we will forgive the last 40%. This program very much mirrors one that we did in 2017-18. Assumption was not in that footprint. That was the flooding of 2016. Again, South Central put out $27 million that time. And again, it's a neat program. It's an opportunity for businesses, the businesses that need it. And it's a lot of paperwork, absolutely, no doubt, can be aggravating, but it is a tremendous opportunity if you know of businesses that can take advantage of that. And I'll answer any questions if there are any.
One question I have is, what are we doing to advertise to businesses in Assumption Parish to notify them about this program?
If you would give me an occupational license list, I will email. Ed Mormon will be getting on the road to do some targeted marketing. 5 years ago, we literally had people knocking door to door. The state wants us to target the low to moderate income census blocks. So we've just kind of now started with that. Again, in the meantime, if you want to give us any lists of businesses, we'll be happy to do mail outs. Email mail outs seem to be the best and easiest. We have staff that started making phone calls, but again, we need the list. We need the information if that can be made available. I know not every parish wants to do that, and that's totally up to y'all. We have billboards. I do think there is a billboard. I'd have to go find it, to be honest with you. I'd have to go in them. I have the address. There is a billboard here in Assumption somewhere. Yes, it's only one billboard, but again, we do have an advertising budget, but as usual, government doesn't advertise very well, and our budget is not that much by way of an advertising budget. But again, we have the opportunity is there. So you help us find these people and we'll get the information. The brochure has more information than the PowerPoint. I can leave a stack of them. Ms. Kim, I don't know if you want to have some at the office. I can hand you all a stack, each of y'all a stack if you'd like. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. We need people to know about it. And we need your help with that.
Maybe one option would be to put in an advertisement in the Parish Journal, so that a lot of people have access to Facebook and those advertised mediums, but not everyone does. We'd like to see that we get, like you said, some community outreach.
Tim, if you would help me with what he's describing, I'll be happy to. Parish Journal. The Facebook thing is kind of funny. I'm not IT savvy, but we have started a Facebook ad. Can't tell you what it looks like and how that works, but we have actually started one, I'd say in the last week. So we're trying to get the word out, but government, we're not so good at advertising, but you help us get the word out. It's a tremendous program if you can qualify.
And what kind of time frame are we looking for businesses to apply?
Currently, the application period will end on December 31st. My best guess is that unless we get a ton of applications and they run out of funds, they're going to extend it. Again, we got plenty enough time for people to come and put their application in. With that second batch of money that I know Congress has sent, what I'm hearing is that, for Ida, it was a $50 million allocation. South Central was immediately given, no, I'm saying that wrong. It's a $40 million Ida application. South Central was given 25 of the 45 million. The notion was that would double. What I am hearing from the state is that the housing program is not getting a lot of applications. That's another problem. If y'all have houses that were impacted by, South Central's not handling it, but there is a program to assist homeowners. My understanding is that they're not getting a lot of applications. So if there is money left over, we will be there asking for it. So I don't know if that answers your question. It's kind of a broad answer, but again, the reality is there's more money coming. We'll see how they allocate that next batch. And come, come late fall, I would imagine they're going to be thinking about whether they need to extend, whether they need to shift money from one pot to the next. The Restore program, there's the housing piece. We have the small business piece. I'm told there's a rental property piece for landlords. I haven't found much information on that. When I find it, I will bring it to you.
Appreciate it.
Question, I got a question from, he made a good point, because I do know some residents within the area that are benefiting from the Restore and the housing part of it. And what I found out is you've had to file your claim with FEMA and probably got some assistance, but it wasn't enough. And due to the Restore Act, they're able to get new dwellings. My question, as it pertains to the small business part, did the business that has been impacted, did they have to go through some of the same formality as applied to FEMA and trying to get some help for their business?
No, sir.
Or is it different? Okay, that's my question.
Thank you. Item 11, request approval of an occupational license for Go Napoleonville LLC in Napoleonville and Apex Exterior and Pressure Washing LLC, Morgan City.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Como,
Second.
second by Mr. Diaz. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Item 12, request approval to reappoint Kenneth Patty for a 5-year term to Ward 1 Recreation District.
So move.
Motion by Mr. Alcorn,
Second.
second by Mr. Carter. All in favor? Opposed? Motion carries. Motion to adjourn
Motion to adjourn.
by Mr. Como, second by Mr. Alcorn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Meeting adjourned.
Ron, what district is that?